The files he sold. Part 2. They didn't fear her rifle. They feared her notebook. Because the moment she realized the war was being sold from the inside, she stopped being a young recon scout. She became the most dangerous person in the entire command chain. That night, Maya sat in a safe house with OSI protection. A small room, a hard bed, a window she wasn't allowed to open. The air smelled like disinfectant and quiet fear. Pike sat across from her on a chair, arms folded. He looked exhausted, like someone who had carried too much anger for too long. "You did it," he said. Maya looked down at her notebook. "No," she whispered. "We did it." Pike nodded slowly. Then he said the part that mattered most. "Kessler's network won't die with him. People helped him. People benefited. And those people will hate you." Maya exhaled. "I know." Pike leaned forward. "You're going to need something stronger than proof," he said. "You're going to need a reason to keep standing." Maya's eyes lifted. "I have one." Pike waited. Maya spoke quietly. "For every convoy that drove into an ambush because of him, for every name on a memorial wall that didn't have to be there, I owe them the rest of my life." Pike's expression softened. "Then don't waste it." Maya sat back and closed her eyes. Because outside, beyond the walls, justice was moving. Slowly, heavily, but moving. And for the first time since she found the first ghost packet, Maya believed something she had never fully allowed herself to believe. The truth could win, even against a general. General Adrian Kessler had not survived 4 decades of war, politics, and power by losing gracefully. Maya learned that the hard way. 2 nights after the hearing, while OSI prepared formal charges and analysts dismantled Kessler's shadow network piece by piece, something changed in the air around her. The safe house became quieter. Too quiet. The guards outside spoke less. Phones rang and stopped ringing without explanation. Pike noticed it first. "They're stalling," he said quietly, standing near the window, eyes scanning reflections in the glass. "Someone's pulling strings." Maya sat on the edge of the bed, notebook in her hands. Stalling for what? Pike didn't answer right away. Then the lights flickered. Just once. And Maya felt it in her bones. "Movement," Pike muttered. He reached for his sidearm. The knock came seconds later. Sharp. Confident. Too confident. Pike moved to the door, checked the peephole, then stiffened. "It's OSI," he said slowly. "Or they're dressed like OSI." Maya's pulse spiked. "What do you mean?" "They're using the right uniforms," Pike said. "Right badges. But I don't recognize them." The knock came again. "Office of Special Investigations," a voice called. "Open the door. We have new orders." Maya stood. Her mind raced, not with panic, but pattern. Kessler had lost the courtroom, but he still had allies. People who believed stability mattered more than justice. People who would rather erase a problem than let it become a symbol. Pike looked at her. "This is it," he said. "They either want to move you or make you disappear." Maya swallowed. Then she nodded. "I'm not going anywhere without verification." Pike smiled grimly. "That's my girl." He raised his voice. "Authenticate," he shouted through the door. OSI code phrase, Alpha Cycle. Silence. Too long. Then, "Stand by." Maya's heart pounded. She leaned toward Pike and whispered, "They don't have it." Pike nodded. He didn't hesitate. He kicked over the chair, slammed the emergency latch, and grabbed Maya's arm. "Window," he said. "Now." They moved fast. Glass shattered outward as Pike forced the window open. Cold night air rushed in. Maya scrambled through, hitting the ground hard. Breath knocked from her lungs. Behind them, the door burst open. Voices shouted. Footsteps thundered. Pike dragged her up, and they ran. Down the alley, over a low fence, into darkness lit only by sodium lamps and fear. A vehicle roared to life behind them. "They're not trying to arrest you," Pike yelled. "They're trying to end this." Maya's lungs burned, but her mind was razor sharp. "Then we make it public," she said. Pike glanced at her. "What?" "The evidence," she gasped. "If it goes wide, if it leaves secure channels, he can't stop it." Pike skidded behind cover, pulling her with him. Public how? Maya's fingers flew to the notebook in her jacket. I memorized the packet hash, she said. The relay paths. The transaction IDs. Pike stared at her. You did what? I knew they'd try something like this, Maya said. So I became the backup. A siren wailed somewhere nearby. Pike exhaled hard, half laughing, half amazed. Okay, he said. Then let's light the fuse. They reached an old communications relay station, abandoned, unofficial, forgotten. The kind of place intelligence units pretended didn't exist until they needed it. Pike slammed the door shut behind them and powered up the terminal. Maya sat, fingers flying. She rebuilt the evidence package from memory, timestamps, identifiers, linkages, typing with a speed born of obsession and survival. Pike watched the perimeter feeds. They're sweeping the area, he said. You have maybe 3 minutes. Maya didn't look up. She routed the data to multiple oversight channels at once. Defense auditors, congressional intelligence committees, judicial review boards, and one final destination. The secure archive used for internal military history, where records could be classified but never erased. She hit enter. The terminal chimed. Data sent. Backed up. Confirmed. Maya slumped back, chest heaving. Pike turned, eyes wide. You just made yourself impossible to silence. Maya nodded slowly. That was the idea. The door shook as someone tried to force it. Then, sirens grew louder. New vehicles arrived. Different ones. Pike checked the feed again, then let out a breath. These aren't his people, he said. These are the real OSI teams. Maya closed her eyes. For the first time since she saw that first ghost packet, she allowed herself to breathe. The trial was not quick. It couldn't be. Too many people were implicated. Too many careers trembled on the edge of truth. Too many ghosts waited for their names to mean something again. But it was thorough, and it was merciless. General Adrian Kessler was stripped of rank, honors, and command. The evidence was overwhelming. Logs, financial records, intercepted communications, testimony from analysts who had finally found their courage. When the verdict was read, he did not shout. He did not beg. He simply stared straight ahead, jaw tight, as if refusing to acknowledge a world where he no longer mattered. Maya sat in the gallery, hands folded, heart steady. When the judge spoke the sentence, decades in military prison, assets seized, name erased from official honor rolls, a quiet ripple moved through the room. Not applause. Relief. Afterward, as people filed out, Kessler was escorted past her. For a moment, he turned his head. You think this ends with me, he said quietly. Maya met his eyes. No, she replied. I think it starts after you. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he was gone. The ceremony was small. No cameras. No speeches for the public. Just a quiet room, a handful of flags, and people who understood what it meant to stand up inside a system that didn't want to be questioned. Maya stood at attention in her dress uniform. Pike stood behind her. So did a few others, analysts, operators, officers who had watched her fight and chosen, eventually, to stand with her. The presiding general spoke plainly. Second Lieutenant Maya Carter, he said, for extraordinary courage, integrity, and service to the nation at great personal risk, you are awarded the Defense Intelligence Star. He pinned the medal to her uniform. It felt heavy, not because of the medal, because of the lives behind it. The general leaned in slightly. You could have walked away, he said. Many would have. Maya's voice was calm. I couldn't live with the silence. The general nodded. That, he said, is how justice survives. Maya returned to work weeks later. Same building, same screens, different air. People didn't call her kid anymore. They didn't laugh when she asked questions. Some avoided her. Others watched her like a reminder. She didn't mind either, because every time she sat at her station, she remembered something important. Power fears those who look closely. Truth doesn't need permission. And sometimes, the bravest weapon in a war isn't a rifle. It's a young woman who refuses to look away. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Epic Recon Stories. Here we tell the missions that never made the headlines, the decisions made in silence, and the people who carried them. More stories are coming soon.